McQuestion for over 28 years, talking about things that matter with people who care. Production of McQuestion is made possible in part by individual viewers, supporters of the Foundation for Responsible Television, the Hatton W. Sumner's Foundation, helping to educate the public about the fundamental principles of their democracy and thus be in a position to help formulate public policy. Moss Adams LLP, certified public accountants and consultants, providing industry-smart tax, assurance, and consulting solutions to help businesses and their owners succeed since 1913. The University of Texas at Dallas, creating the future.
This week's program is part 2 of a 2-part series on obesity. Almost 40% of Americans are obese, and almost 20% of children and adolescents aged 2 to 19 are obese. This issue not only concerns our health, but ultimately impacts our entire healthcare system and its solvency. Joining us are 2 experts and a person from Orlando who has actually made a life-changing decision on weight. Gina Carr is joining us via Skype. Having lost 50 pounds from plant-based living, Gina is fueled by her knowledge that she will never have a weight problem again. Her health journey led her to discover and follow the evidence-based diet that reduces her risk of heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. And she's a marketing consultant by day. Gina, welcome to the program, and we'll hear your story shortly, so thank you very much for joining us. In the studio, Kevin Gilliland is a Dallas-based clinical psychologist and executive director of Innovation 360. He's an addiction and substance abuse expert with over 20 years of experience in outpatient treatment and a member of People Magazine's Health Squad. So welcome back to the program, Kevin.
Good to be here.
Sitting next to you is Mary Warren. She is owner of Road Warrior Wellness and Vital Follow Wellness, Force Wellness. I'm getting this right sometime, Mary. She's been practicing and researching and speaking in the field of holistic healthcare for 25 years, and she's a chiropractor as well, so she specializes in nutrition and has authored 2 books on wellness. I don't know why I keep stumbling over your stuff, Mary, for some reason, but I want you to tell that viewer what a holistic chiropractor and a functioning nutritionist are. Would you mind telling us that?
I'd be happy to, Dennis. You know, functional nutritionists, what we do is we take a good look at, first of all, what people are eating and diet. And for 25 years, I've worked with people that want to be healthier. And by doing this, I've worked with nutritional supplementation, I've worked with herbs, homeopathy, and dietary guidance. And people make remarkable changes. I also do chiropractic work, I do low force work, but my real focus is on blood work and functional nutrition. Like, where are you today? What are you eating? What are you not eating? More importantly, sometimes.
Yes, exactly. And you also were kind enough to send us some graphics, so let's let that viewer see the biggest part of this problem and what's causing some of it. So if we're looking at graphic number 4 to start with, here's what it says, and that is the prevalence of obesity, as we said, right at 40%, 93 million adults, at almost 20% of children. And if your BMI is 30 or higher, it falls within the obese range. And I'm going to talk about BMI for just a second. We had a previous program, we had Dr. Don Forrester on, and he says that BMI can be difficult for us individually, but sort of a group BMI over 30 is a problem. So tell that viewer what BMI is.
Well, the BMI really takes into account, as Dr. Forrester said, your height and your weight. And what it does is it gives you a place to start. When you look at those measurements, you will have a percentile in which you fall. And if you're in a normal percentile, you're doing well weight-wise, dietary-wise, and more than likely motion and movement-wise. If you are above, if you're 25% or above, then you're considered overweight. And once you're over 30%, you're considered obese. So you really want to be between 20 and 25%.
All right, let's look at one of my favorite things in graphic number 5. I love desserts, I love sugar. So let's look at this. 31.5 teaspoons a day. Can this be true, Mary?
It is sadly true. It is so sadly true. And this is why, as the speakers talked about in the previous show, Dennis, type 2 diabetes is absolutely pandemic in this great country. I I mean, it is an amazing quantity of sugar. It comes to about 161 pounds a year for the average American, unless you're really paying attention to what you're eating. Particularly if it's something that has a label, look at the sugar content.
All right,
Ideally, you don't want to eat too many foods with labels.
Exactly. Well, here's what we know, that if we don't eat sugar, we can eat aspartame. Is that how you pronounce it? Let's look at this
Yes.
next graphic. So this must be good, huh?
Yeah, aspartame is great, isn't it? So it breaks down into metabolic waste products, I call them, that contribute. And these are great statistics. I mean, they're nice and recent. They come right from the government website. And it really is shocking what aspartame contributes to. But as I've said to people over the years, aspartame breaks down to methanol, which breaks down to formaldehyde and then formic acid. So unfortunately, aspartame is in a lot of diet drinks. It's also in a lot of gums and mints that people are eating and drinking. So again, it's looking at the labels and being aware of where these things are coming from.
Well, you're not making me very happy, so let's look at the next graphic, which is also one of my favorite things, called fats. So talk to us about fats.
What would you like to know about fats?
Well, what's the difference? I never can figure out the difference. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be saturated, unsaturated, or what I'm supposed to do here.
It has been so confusing, hasn't it? I think I'm about a balanced blend. So what you want to really do is lop off the trans fats. And there actually are places in this great country that have outlawed trans fats in foods. But saturated fats and unsaturated fats are really powerful nutrients. And I know there are people that are against fats and against oils, but fats are going to be your long burning calories. They give you the staying energy, and a lot of times keep you from reaching for sweets and treats and simple carbohydrates. So you really want to focus on saturated and unsaturated fats.
Yeah, you don't want to get yourself totally out of that. And you wrote a book called What the Good, the Bad, and the Bankrupt.
Right.
Get yourself out of nutritional deficit.
Yes.
What was that all about?
Well, it was years of handouts and PowerPoint classes and slides and public speeches, and I thought we need to get this all into one place. So my husband and I co-authored this book, and it really is a way to get people thinking about what they're eating and what they're doing, and simple steps that you can take, as was mentioned by Kevin on the earlier show. It's really about making incremental changes. And as my husband and I like to say, it's really about having a sustainable diet, a sustainable lifestyle, something that works for you all the time. And that's about having healthy choices.
Yeah. Well, Gina, you have done something. So give us a little bit of your, quickly, your journey and what you did and how you were able to go from where you were to where you are. And while you're talking to us, Gina, I'm going to ask them to put up graphics 8 and 9, which are a couple of pictures of you before and after. So talk to us, please.
Okay, well, I guess in many ways a typical American that for most of my adult life, I've struggled with my weight. I remember doing my first big diet when I was in high school, and then, dieting in college, and all these decades and decades later. Yeah, that's me there, and I'm certainly much happier in my new weight than I was in my old weight.